what's up? It's PDX Guitar Freak, and in this video I'm going to show you how to play the guitar solo from the classic Ozzy song Flying High Again, which had Randy Rhoads on guitar. Now, a couple things I want to mention, two things that are really important before we start. First, most importantly, you have to have your guitar tuned down 1/2 step, just like the original song. So E becomes E flat, A becomes A flat, D becomes D flat, etc. You know the drill. And then second, you may have noticed at the beginning of this video when I was performing the solo, it was actually 3 videos of me all kind of layered one on top of each other playing the solo. And that's because I actually triple tracked the solo. I played it 3 separate times, audio and video, and then blended it. And the reason I did that is because Randy Rhoads was known to double and sometimes triple track his solos in the studio. This is a great way of kind of fattening up your sound in the studio, but it does have some potential drawbacks when it comes to trying to transcribe the music. But don't worry, I've done that for you, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Let's jump on into it. Section 1 goes like this. Slowly. And that's a very classic rock lick. You've probably heard it hundreds of times in different solos. And one thing I want to call out there is when you do those 16th fret bends on the G string, notice how I have them tabbed as a 1/2 step bend. I've seen that tabbed many different ways. Quarter step, half step, full step, and even no bend. But to my ears, it sounds most like a 1/2 step bend. And part of the problem of picking it out is the multi-tracking that Randy does. It kind of makes things a little challenging sometimes to pick out exactly all the little inflections he does. But I believe it's a 1/2 step. I think if you go with any bending technique, quarter, half, or full, it's going to sound okay. All right, let's move to the next part. Section 2. Slowly. Very cool descending lick, kind of a mixture of F sharp Aeolian and the F sharp blues scale. Love that. And the one thing I want to call out there is at the very end when you do that, that's one of those, I've seen that tabbed many different ways. Okay, the most common way is how I'm showing you here. But when you listen to the original guitar track, and if you can find the isolated guitar track, which is out there on YouTube, it almost sounds like when Randy was doing his double or triple tracking, that one of the attempts he played it slightly differently. It just sounds a little bit like he may have mixed in with, okay? And I think if you play it either one of those ways, and here's how you tab the second way. If you play it that way or the other way, either way it's going to sound good. All right, let's move to the next part. Section 3. Slowly. That one, it's pretty straightforward, just follow the tabs. I'm not sure I have any additional advice on that one. Let's move to the next part. Section 4. Slowly. Now there are a couple things I want to call out. First, notice there's a lot of palm muting going on, as noted by the PM in the tabs, a little line showing you the section that's palm muted. And then second, the way I'm playing it there with my fingering, you'll notice that there are times where instead of using the tip of my finger, I'm kind of pulling my finger down so I can use this fleshy part to fret. Right? I'm kind of moving my fleshy part down onto the strings. That's the way I play it. Like, watch closely. Did you see that? Did you notice how I was using that? I was fretting with the fleshy part of my finger quite a bit there as I was moving around. Play whatever's comfortable for you, all right? And then at the end when he does that, look, don't get caught up with on the tabs how many times you're hammering on, okay? Don't count it, okay? Just feel it, okay? And if it ends up being 5, 7, 9, whatever, as long as you feel it and it comes out feeling right, just do it. No one's going to notice if it's the exact amount of trills, all right? Let's move to the next part. Now this next part, you're going to want to start by having your index finger barred across the B and E strings at the 10th fret, okay? Okay? You play that 3 times, while always keeping your index finger barred across both the B and the E. Followed by all right. That's again pretty straightforward. One thing I want to tell you is that because you've got your finger barred there, when you go to do that slide up, sometimes I'm just not quick enough to get my finger off the B string, so I'm sliding up on both the B and E string before doing the... Just make sure you mute that B string before you slide up on it, if that makes sense. All right, let's move to the next part, the finger tapping. Okay, now we get into the finger tapping section, and these are some pretty basic patterns you're going to repeat. So we start like this, played 4 times. Right? Pretty straightforward. And then you're going to take that same fingering pattern, you're going to move it to the next string and 1 fret up. Okay? So now you're going. And then again, you're going to move to the next string, the G string, and move it all up 1 fret. So now you're here. And then again, finally, you move it up to the D string and you go. Now for the final part, again, it's more of the finger tapping, same type of pattern. You're going to start up here on the high E string and move down to the D string. Same kind of linear pattern, okay? You're going to start here now at this position. Alright, that was my lesson on how to play the guitar solo from Ozzy's Flying High Again. Hope you found it helpful, informative, useful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below and I will answer them as time allows. Until next time, rock on.